what you want, when you want it, where you want it. This is The Mesh.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 58, volume 4 of Big Fan. My name is Chad East, and I'm a big fan of the first time eating back inside of a restaurant again. March Madness right around the corner, and 70-degree February afternoons. Mr. Eimer.
That sound lovely. My name's Hank Eimer, and I'm a big fan of 70 degrees in February. Look at that. We match up. The satisfaction of handing over your tax documents and your accountant not calling you back and saying that you're an idiot. And number 3, pitchers and catchers reporting.
I knew that would be on your list today, Hank. And before we talk about pitchers and catchers reporting, which is a special day for you, taxes. I hate doing taxes. It is just I always forget about it. So your taxes are complete. You've already given to your accountant and you're done. Damn, you're ahead of the curve, sir.
My accountant has already finished them. They've already finished them. So I've already gone up, signed them, sent them off, did what I had to do. I'm done.
Good for you. I haven't even started, but I'll get that
early
done
bird
next
gets
week.
the worm, Chad.
Bingo. And speaking of early birds, let's talk a little bit about baseball. So are they going to have a full season? What's the deal, Hank? And that's your favorite sport. I think you guys are you playing? Is Harris playing baseball now?
Yeah, we just actually started our practice. We're doing once a week. It's early, so we're just trying to get a ball in everybody's hand and swinging the bat again. So it's really early for us, but we're going to start in March. I mean, so we'll start before the major league season, but it's pretty awesome that pitchers and catchers are reporting because they're going to try to have a full season. They're not going to have the stadiums open. I know that every state and the organizations themselves are taking a stand on what they want to do. And I heard today Governor Cooper actually increased the amount of attendees that are going to be at outdoor sporting events from 100 to I don't know what he's going to, but he increased it, which is pretty awesome. So pitchers and catchers reporting is kind of a big deal because for a baseball fan, this is the start. This is where you start to get video of Garrett Cole, warming up in New York's spring training camp. This is where you see those guys that have changed your Bauer now in a Dodgers uniform throwing, and it kind of gets your juices flowing, ready for baseball to start. So I'm excited.
So maybe a really dumb question, but why do pitchers and catchers report earlier than the rest of the team? What is the deal behind that? Do they think that they're just the most important people on the whole team, or what's going on here, Hank?
Yeah, that's probably numero uno. Catchers are number 1 on the list, and then everybody else underneath them. But it really comes down to arm care. To get a pitcher ready for the season, they probably haven't done very much off season, as far as they want to keep their arm fresh, pitch limits and everything else are such a big part of baseball nowadays that the individual wants to make sure that their arm is healthy and they take time off of it, but they also want to give them enough time to get it back in order. And so, these guys that are reporting are probably spending the first day on the mound throwing, 15 pitches, not 100%, and they'll move, they're going to move all the way up to 75, 80 pitches by the time they hit the season. So it's all about getting them back in to pitching shape because, hitters, outfielders, they're conditioning all year, they're hitting all year back at their home. So they're going to come in,
right,
ready to play, whereas these other guys kind of got to build themselves back up. And then the workhorse of the whole thing is catchers.
Of course. And then the last question, baseball related. So, Hickory Crawdads, I can't wait till we can go back to the stadium, grab a beer, grab a hot dog, take our kids out there on a beautiful spring evening. You know what I'm saying? I am looking forward to that so much. Have you heard of a tentative schedule for them to get going here in Hickory?
Yeah, I actually every year for opening day we do a box, and my firm goes there, And so we actually were contacted the other day about it, and it's going to be on May 11th, I believe. Yeah, it's May 11th is opening night at the Crawdad Stadium. So we're going to be able to go out and watch a little bit of baseball, have a cold beer, maybe some chicken wings. I don't know. It's going to be fun, though.
Yeah. I loved how you dropped in, like, you get the VIP box for the crawdads, just trying to tell everybody how really rich you are. I'll see how you roll, bud. I'll see how you do it. VIP box at the
Chad.
crawdads. We have hit it now, boy. We have made it big time.
Chad, I will tell you, we've made it. It is amazing to watch your little memory, or your little mind work, because for people that don't know, we do this, and usually the two of us have to FaceTime each other because the software that we use, especially when we're out of the studio, you can't see each other's face. Well, Chad and I have been FaceTiming each other. Well, now this software that we use has just put in a video element, so now we can see everybody on the call. And our producer, he was on there, very clear. You could see every follicle on his head, which is few. I am in a lit office space. And I'm in a lit office space. And then Chad decides to put the sun right behind him. So he is just a mere shadow. It could be one of your daughters sitting right there. I wouldn't know it.
Oh, wow. Yes. You never answered the VIP question. I mean, how proud are you of that VIP box? You love that box, don't you, man? Can I come in?
So proud of it. It is so. Our Lord, no, there's a limit, and it's a height limit. It's not a person limit.
Oh, that hurts. That hurts. Well, let's get back to it, Hank. Today we're coming to you on a February 24th. All kinds of, actually positive things are happening. I hear that the COVID numbers are down dramatically, almost 77% since the beginning of the year. Unfortunately, we did hit a 500,000 death level, I guess it was earlier this week, which is pretty sad. But besides that, everything is moving in the right direction. My mom and dad got their second vaccinations on Tuesday. They feel 100%, so everything is going pretty well. As of yesterday, though, Hank, some pretty scary news happened, and we wanted to talk about this gentleman today. And wow, the timing couldn't be more perfect because Tiger Woods is who we were going to talk about regarding the Masters and everything. Well, we find out yesterday he was in a horrendous car accident, and literally, an inch here or there, and he could have lost his life. He's out of surgery now. I've read he's got broken legs, broken ankles, some other things to his lower extremities. But do you know much about this Tiger Woods, this accident, and his potential trying to win the Masters again in a couple weeks? Looks like it's out of the question. But let's talk a little bit about Tiger Woods here, Hank.
Yeah, well, they said that the break, he had like multiple breaks. I don't know the word that they used, but it was not only multiple breaks, more than 2 breaks on the lower half of his leg, but it was a compound, so it was coming out of the skin. So they said that when he was approached by the police officer, he was very calm. He was very cooperative. He didn't seem like he was, on any drugs or alcohol or had any issues. It was 7:30 in the morning. Well, that we know that doesn't really matter, but it seemed like he was just had a car wreck. Now the real question is did he fall asleep? Was he texting? They said he was probably going too fast. But the day before, he was on the golf course and he was with Dwayne Wade and David Spade, and he gave these celebrity lessons. So it doesn't seem like there's this foul play out there, but he's been in such a roller coaster ride over the last couple of years, from the fall from grace, when he was at the top of his game, to where he is now. And the one question I have for you is, when he fell from the world's top and started kind of digging himself out of that hole, do you think that he was starting to get in a position where people were really starting to emotionally kind of connect with him again? And why do you think that was? Because I feel like America was. I feel like he was getting his second chance, and I feel like there were a couple of different reasons why he was, but I'd like to hear what you had to say.
Sure. Well, prior to that, I think Tiger Woods was very polarizing in the fact that I think you either really loved him, like you rooted for him, and he was your favorite golfer, and anytime he was on, you were going to watch, or you really despised him, but you were still going to watch him. You know what I'm saying? Like you either really loved him or really hated him, but it didn't prevent you from watching him. You wanted to watch him to either succeed or fail. So when he had his fall from grace, man, that's been, I don't even know, maybe over a decade ago. And I think people started getting back on the Tiger Woods bandwagon because they realized he was a human. You know, he was flawed just like the rest of us. Before, you know, this incident happened where his wife beat the hell out of him in his car because he had married 23 affairs or whatever. You know, people thought he was like untouchable. He wanted everything he did. He had the most beautiful wife. He lived in the biggest houses. He had the best friends. He had the most money. And, you know, some people just did not like that. But when he did fall from grace and try to climb his way back up, the reason I think he had a lot more people on his side is because they realized he was human. And he had kids now, too. He was a father. You know, he was no longer just a golfer. Now he was a dad and a normal human being. So, yes, I feel like the majority of people are now rooting for Tiger instead of hating him. How about you? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, and you know, he's not the young kid anymore, so this recovery is going to be tough. You know, he's kind of an animal when it comes to working out. So, you know, he'll do all the physical therapy and everything to get back, but it won't be easy, especially if it's the kind of break that they say it is. I mean, this is probably going to be tough to rehab and be back anytime soon. But I think he's going to come back stronger than ever. But I think you're exactly right. I think the one thing that helped him in the past year and a half, well, when they saw him win the Masters and hug his little boy, I feel like that was a moment for him to kind of connect with every dad and every, mom too, about his feelings for his kids. And, I also feel like seeing him on the range a couple of days ago not a couple of days ago, a couple months ago with his son, when his son was playing in that golf tournament, and seeing him carry his bag during that golf tournament, it just made him into a normal man rather than this figure that you didn't know very much about. So I think him being a father was probably the biggest thing that came out of that helped him the most, because I feel like people are like, you know what, every dad can make a mistake and he's a normal dad. And we should realize how hard it would be to be Tiger Woods. Now, I'm not saying anything that he did was right,
Sure.
but I feel like people grew closer to him in those events.
And let's not forget, we're talking about his comeback. If he can come back from this recent accident, he was on his 4th back surgery, dude. 4 back surgeries. Now he's going to have to rehab his legs again. Here is what I bet, Hank. And, out of all people, they say, like Justin Thomas was like, if it's going to happen to anybody and they're going to be able to come back, it would be Tiger Woods. He is the one person in this world that can come back from something like this because he's proven that he's done it before. I don't think he comes back, Hank.
You don't think he comes back out? You think he does an Andrew Luck?
I don't think he's going to come back to play professional golf again. I think it's over. And again, I'm just speculating. This is just how I feel. I think Las Vegas even has set a number, which is crazy. They're set odds on if Tiger Woods will ever play in a golf tournament again, and it's even money. It's 50-50. So I could see, him not coming back to play on the PGA Tour. Maybe when he turns 50, he'll play on the senior tour. Can you imagine what it would do for those senior golf events? Tiger Woods on the tour? Unbelievable. But yeah, that's what I'm predicting today, February 24th. We may have seen the last of Tiger Woods as a professional golfer on the PGA Tour. And man, would that be sad? That would be very sad.
Did we just hear you stamp a date down like you were Nostradamus? That today was the date that Chad East proclaimed that Tiger would never be back. And knowing that everybody in talk radio is talking about it right now, I love how you try to take credit for that, Chad East.
The only opinion that matters is the opinion on Big Fan, Hank. That's the only one that matters. And, let's talk about prophecies. This time last year, it was about February 24th when I saw the people wearing the masks on the escalator in the mall that I've told the story 38 times. It's your favorite It is your favorite story. I said, Hank, here they're wearing masks, Hank. What's going on in this world? I predict something is pretty serious. Pretty serious. So 1 year ago to this date, my prophecy of masks people will be wearing, and now I'm prophesizing that Tiger Woods will no longer play professional golf again. Mark it down. Boom, boom.
I'm so glad that I was here for this, which was the 14th time that you brought this topic up, because this is going to be on your tombstone one day. I guarantee it. I'm going to have to, when somebody gives your eulogy, I'm going to have to go over to them and say, make sure that you say that Chad East was the one that said everybody'd be wearing masks for a year.
Thank you. I don't know if that'll all fit on my tombstone, but anyway, yes, please etch it on there. That would be great. Hank, so I wanted to talk, before we get into our next couple segments, I wanted to talk about some comments we had regarding our last podcast. We have a couple huge hits with the Taste Buddies segment. A lot of people, fans of Taste Buddies. And then secondly, there were a couple people that were really interested in our near-death conversation, our near-death experience conversation, the one I shared that I watched on television, and the one you shared that you watched right in front of you to your lovely wife. And one of the people that listened to our show, actually, we had a discussion about it, that they've had a near-death experience. And I wanted to share it with you because it was so similar to kind of how you describe Reagan's. And so it was a friend of mine, Andy Roney,
Right.
who you know very well, and I'm sure Andy won't mind me sharing this story. So when he was in college, he went to school at App, and they were driving. It was like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning on this real wet back road that all the App State people would know. It's some shortcut to get to town. I don't know, but where you don't have to be on 321, you kind of go a back way. Well, it's very windy, and it's gravel road in some sections, and they're driving on it. And it's, like I mentioned, it's very curvy. Well, he's driving, and he sees in front of him like a ghostly spirit or an angel. It was a female, kind of how you said Reagan said when she came to, where is she? Kind of, where is she? You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah. Describe what Reagan saw again, if you don't mind.
This podcast is sponsored by Jackson Creative, a custom communication agency located in downtown Hickory, North Carolina, specializing in online content creation. To learn more, visit thejacksoncreative.com. Jackson Creative, we tell your story.
Yeah, she said the girl was on the other side of the room in a doorway. She was long white dress, long dark hair, very, very non-threatening, waving, very comforting, all those things.
Yes. Well, that's kind of exactly how Andy described this person, this spirit or whatever it was, this angel in front of him. And she was waving kind of like as he's driving up the road. And so in front of them. And so he kind of veers the car off, and he comes to a stop, and his rear tire is hanging. Once he veers quickly, it is hanging off the side of a mountain. There was this huge drop, like 200 feet. He's just going right along, and he sees the spirit or the angel and turns to avoid her, and avoids flying off a cliff. And so anyway, the way that you described who you saw was exactly how he described his spirit or angel or whomever. So I just thought that was interesting. A lot of people did like our near-death experience story. So if anybody else has any, please keep them coming. We'll be happy to share it with our audience.
One thing, I'm not sure. I think that was a movie called I Know What You Did Last Summer that Andy is referencing. I'm not sure. I don't want to take anything away from his experience, but I'm pretty sure that was Jennifer Love Hewitt going, "Don't hit me, don't hit me, don't hit me."
You might be onto something, because he had said he had another second near-death experience story that he was in a hotel, and this guy came through with an axe through a door trying to get at him. So I think he was just, thinking about The Shining. So anyway, probably. Andy Roney, 2 near-death experiences. 1, I Know What You Did Last Summer, and 2, The Shining. Keep them coming, Andy. Keep them coming. The other big success story of last week's podcast was our new segment called Taste Buddies. As our well-renowned eater over here, Hank Eimer, I mean, he is world-renowned with his appetite. So we've got Two, I want to come at you real quick for our Taste Buddies segments. So the intro for Taste Buddies goes like this. Taste Buddies, Taste Buddies. We're buddies, and we like to taste things. Okay, Hank, here we go. Taste Buddies. So this is probably not your favorite thing, but we've all been to the party where there's nothing left on the table except for a veggie tray. Like everything's been picked through, but there's that one veggie tray that's still left untouched. The container top is not even taken off yet. Let's say you're at the party, Hank. You're starving. You've only eaten 8 times today. You got to get that 9th meal in. And so you pull the top off the veggie tray, and inside the veggie tray, there are 4 main or 5 main veggies. It's normally broccoli, carrots, cauliflower, celery, and those little red tomatoes, right? The little red tomatoes. Hank, you're starving. Give me starting from 5th worst to number 1. Where do you go? Give me worst to best.
Worst number 1 is tomato. Okay. Those little tomatoes are clothes staining bombs in that situation. You take a bite of it. Next thing you know, it shoots across 6 feet, hits some girl's white dress. Next thing you know, you're in a fist fight with her boyfriend. By far, number 5 coming in is that. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Number 4, I'll go okay. So number 4 would be celery. Okay. Celery, although I do like that it's 99% water, so it's hydrating because Lord knows we're probably drinking at this event. I would like to keep the hydration at a maximum, but really, as far as filling, celery isn't there. It's got to stay number 4. Okay. Okay. The carrots would be next. Okay, carrots would be next. Good for vision, bad for getting stuck in your teeth. Okay, so I don't know if I'd really pick carrots anywhere but number 3. They're kind of a dull food, and if you've seen these trays before, they try to pack the carrots in because I feel like they're the cheapest. They're like, throw more carrots in. Okay,
absolutely. The ratio of carrots to every other vegetable, carrots dominate.
Right. So you said the next 2 are broccoli and cauliflower, right?
Yes.
Okay. So number 2 would be cauliflower. Okay. And it's only number 2 to broccoli at number 1. Both of them are great transporters of ranch. Everybody knows that the transport ratio for broccoli and cauliflower for ranch is very high. Very high. You can get a good scoop on that one, right? So I would go broccoli as my number 1.
Yes.
I know. See, now the hard thing for me to do is currently ask you what your top 5 would be, because I don't believe you get through all 5. You would have a hard time stomaching maybe 2 of those things, maybe just one piece of those 2.
Correct. What I would probably do, Hank, is just take the provided ranch dressing that they give you, and I would just maybe stick my finger in it a little bit and just take little dabs to my tongue. Instead of eating the veggies, just take ranch dressing dabs to the tongue. Sound good?
Okay.
Yes,
that sounds
good.
great.
Very good. All right, here we go. Taste Buddies. Taste Buddies number 2, Hank. Taste Buddies number 2. Let's say the scenario as you're at a tailgate, all right? And soon, believe it or not, by next football season, we shall be tailgated again. If you want to put that down, February 24th, Chad, prophecy number 2, tailgating will commence this fall, okay? Thank you, Hank. So you're at the tailgate. Cats are flipping, everybody's got their beer and hanging out, throwing cornhole. The guy's got the grill in front of you, right? And so he was like, Hank, whatever you want, buddy, but you can only have one at this tailgate. We got to save it for everybody else because we know if we left it up to you, you'd eat everything in the gosh dang place. So only one item, Hank, one item. Here you go. He says, hot dog, hamburger. We got some fried chicken from KFC over here in the box, or I can throw some wings on the grill for you, Hank. Or your last option, it would be no food. Let's stick with beer only. Hank, talk to me. Rank them. Where do you go here on the tailgate Taste Buddies?
So you're telling me that if I don't go with a piece of food, if I take a piece of food, I'm not going to be able to drink beer? So it's either beer or food? This is going to be really easy if that's the case.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying you could have an option where you say, you know what, I'm not in an eating kind of mood. I'm sticking strictly with the beer, but you're not penalized by not choosing food. You can choose the food and have the beer too.
Okay. That sounds better because it was going to get real easy real quick. Okay. So the option to not have any food, as you know, is not an option for me. We're going to go ahead and I would hate to turn down this guy's generosity and not take him up on what delicious delicacy he's going to provide for me. Okay. Now, I would tell you, if I can only get one, we got to go surface area, right? You got to go surface area. So I think I would go cheeseburger. That would be my number one. I'm going backwards. Okay. We're going backwards. We're going cheeseburger number one. Okay. Cheeseburger number one. Then we'd probably go hot dogs number two. Okay. Just because of it's easy to stand up and do it. Chicken wings would have to be at the end because you are falling apart at that point. You're trying to dip it in the ranch that you've stuck your little finger in 50 times. And I can't get onto that COVID ranch, right? So that would probably be last. I don't remember the other two. I knew KFC was in there. No, KFC is probably four. And the fifth one, I don't even remember. Or the middle one, I don't know. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I would go with extra beer. I would double my beer before I do KFC or finger ranch dip.
Finger ranch dip's always been a favorite of mine. Hank, let me ask you this. And, as from one, I mean, you're the foodie of our show. Just if you had a choice between a hamburger and cheeseburger, there really is no choice. It's always a cheeseburger. Who wants a hamburger without cheese? You want a cheeseburger. Why even make a hamburger? Just put on the menu cheeseburger. That's what you want. That's what the public needs. They don't want a plain hamburger, right, Hank?
Right. No, nobody wants a plain hamburger. I mean, that's like psychopath talk. If you go into a McDonald's and you have a guy look the waitress straight in her face and he goes, I would like a hamburger. And she would say, would you like to add cheese to that? And he says, no, run out of that restaurant because he is getting ready to shoot up the place because nobody, you could probably see it from a mile away. If she hands him his burger and it's in the brown wrapper, not in the yellow wrapper, you know what I'm talking about, right? The special hamburger wrapper that they have 400 million of because they never use them. If he's getting handed that, then you run. Now, the one thing I will tell everybody is I've figured out that the reason that I'm getting personally attacked on this is because I eat a normal caloric balanced meal. I just figured this out. You and an ant share the same amount of nutritional value. So would any normal human look like somebody that is taking advantage or gluttonous? I imagine so. So I hope you get over this attempt that you're trying to throw at people.
Well, that wraps up Taste Buddies. Good job. Way to go. Another Taste Buddies in the books for Mr. Hank Eimer, our food aficionado. Okay, Hank. I'm going to have to cut our podcast a little bit short today, unfortunately. I've got to take care of some business. But I just want to tell you, February 24th marks a very lucky day for us, Hank. I grabbed a jacket this morning. It's a jacket that I haven't put on a lot recently because it wasn't as cold as it has been in the past. And I reached into the pocket and I pulled out an old Keno ticket. You know what Keno is, Hank?
Sure do.
So Keno, I can't remember exactly where I was when I purchased the Keno ticket, but I was some little restaurant or bar or something. And I remember putting the numbers in and I turned it in and they spit out my ticket and then I didn't even really stick around to watch the rest of the numbers pop up. I just put it in my pocket. Well, anyway, I grabbed the ticket. I grabbed it in my pocket. I found the ticket today and I was like, man, this was from about 18 days ago. I'm going to go to the convenience store and just see if I happen to be a winner, Hank. So I go into the convenience store. I throw the Keno ticket down. I was like, I know I didn't win, but at least it was in my pocket. I felt like I at least need to have it scanned. She scans it, Hank. Ding, ding, ding. Winner, winner. Chicken dinner. 48-bone Keno ticket just in my pocket. In my pocket randomly from an 18-day ago adventure. Yes, I was pretty proud of that. So what do you think I should go buy a lottery ticket tonight?
No, listen, over the last few minutes, 10 minutes ago, you were bashing me on the amount of money that I like to spill out on the show over my VIP crawdad thing. You're telling me that you're walking around with $48 in your pocket that you don't know about? You, Daddy Warbucks over there, doesn't even care about winning tickets. just elects just to walk around holding this over our head? God, Chad, let's go. I'd like to be a Chad East for a
Keynote, keynote, keynote tickets just hanging out in every pocket I've got, every jacket, every coat, every sweatpant, just extra keynote. Just swiping keynote tickets in the air like it's a strip club, partner. Yes. Oh man. Anyway, I just thought I had to share with you the lucky keynote ticket. But Hank, before we get out of here, I know you had some other stuff on the list that we can breeze through real quick. Go ahead and talk to me.
Well, one of my favorite things to do with you is because I'm our food expert. You are our movie expert. It seems like, I know that you've been deprived with your Tuesday movie adventure. And one of the things that I found out the other day is that one of my favorite movies is coming out in a sequel. And I think you know which one I'm talking about.
Hank, it has to be everyone's favorite Eddie Murphy movie, Coming to America.
Yes, it is. It is. And I am so excited about it because it has been such a long break between the two. And I think most of the people in our generation, surrounded by our generation, loved that movie. I mean, it had everything to it. It had humor, it had love, it was drama, it was great. And, to have, I think Eddie Murphy's daughter's in it, which is going to be kind of cool to watch her. But you were talking earlier before we got on that you just found out the premise of this movie. Why don't you share it with us?
Yeah. So, again, I just read this, so don't treat it as gospel. But so before Eddie Murphy came to Queens to meet his wife in the first Coming to America, he had a little layover in another part of New York where he met a girl and they had a baby. The baby was a son. Eddie Murphy had no idea he had a son. So he's living this new life with his new wife that owns McDowell restaurants, or what is it called? McDowell's. I think that was their McDonald's reference. But anyway, the son finds him and says, "Dad, you are my dad. You are my dad." So the new adventure of Coming to America 2 is he finding out that he's got a son and then, being a father. That's what it's about. So anyway, it's probably very funny. It's going to have, it's got some great actors in it. I saw Arsenio's back in it and some other comedians. So I'm looking forward to it. Does it have a date that they're coming out with this, Hank? Have you heard a date they're releasing it?
I don't know what the date is, and I can maybe pull that up for you, but I have not heard yet on when it will be released. But I can tell you, it's one of the it's one of the ones that I will want to go to right when it comes out because it was one of my favorite movies for sure.
Yeah. And actually, another good positive news to share. So they're thinking of opening the theaters back within, I think it's by March. So, we will be able, if you're ready, still have to wear masks and social distance in the theater, but you can go into, I think the AMC, I think it'll be in March. So anyway, the Carolina theater is actually already open. So anyway, if you're needing your movie fix, pop by the Carolina. That place is phenomenal. $3 movie, cheap popcorn, cheap drink, and maybe in about a month or so, we'll have the AMC theaters back in Hickory for you to go check out your movies. Hank, what else we got, buddy? Or shall we call it a show?
Well, I think the only thing that I wanted to ask you is March 17th, we're coming up on one of our good friend Paul Breeding's favorite holidays, St. Patty's Day. Okay, and he introduced me to a drink on St. Patty's Day when we were in college called the Car Bomb. Okay, it has been a staple for me in St. Patrick's Day. If it comes on a Monday, or regardless of where we are, what date it is, whatever, Car Bomb comes into my future on that date. Okay, I know Paul's in Raleigh. Charlie and I sometimes tackle this. So my reason that I bring this up is, it is the national holiday that's celebrated in Ireland, which is, a wonderful place in its own. But what here do you do for your St. Patty's tradition? What are you going to do on the 17th? That's the only question I ask.
Sure. For the past several years, St. Patrick's Day has always fallen on the Thursday, roughly, or whatever, that we are at the March Madness beach trip with all my friends from high school. And so, I mean, it seems like every time we're down there, that's when St. Patrick's Day is right around the same time. So typically we always go to this place in Cherry Grove, and I can't remember the name of it's called Hodo's now, but it was called Murphy's. Anyway, it's a little Irish bar. And so, yes, we would drink a beer there, I think the car bomb strategy that you have sounds fantastic. Remind me of what is in a car bomb, Hank. Remind me. And will you have more than one, too? Is it one car bomb and you call it a day, or is it multiple car bombs? Go ahead.
Usually we do multiple car bombs, but you take half of a Guinness and you put it in a pint glass. Okay. Half a Guinness. It's halfway up. Then you take a shot glass and you put half of Irish whiskey. Bushmills is fine. That's what we usually use. And then the other half of the shot glass is Bailey's. Okay. Then you drop the shot glass in there and you have to drink it before it curdles, because the Guinness and the Bailey's will counteract each other and it'll curdle. So you have to drink it immediately. It's delicious. And you've got to do more than one. Heck, you probably got to do 6.
Well, if that's the case, my friend, I shall be at your house this St. Patrick's Day to enjoy a car bomb, because our beach March Madness trip is nixed. Yeah, no beach trip. So I will be coming to your house for a delicious car bomb. I remember these things now, because as soon as you drop it in, you got to just take it to the face immediately, right? You got to drink it really fast, and it tastes spectacular. It's a wonderful taste. So, yes, I will look forward to being at your house for St. Patrick's Day, buddy. And if that's all we got today, I hate that we're got to cut a little short, but business got to make them that money to get that VIP status at the crawdads is what I'm talking about. Got to make them Benjis.
Got to make them rain.
Oh, if you could see what Hank's doing on video right now. Making it rain over here, making it rain. All right, guys. Well, anyway, thanks for listening to The Big Fan this week. Hank, so good seeing you. Look forward to seeing you very soon and talking to our audience in about 2 weeks. Until then, please be safe, stay healthy. Peace.
You've been listening to The Mesh, an online media network of shows and programs ranging from business to arts, sports to entertainment, music to community. All programs are available on the website as well as through iTunes and YouTube. Check us out online at themesh.tv. Discover other network shows and give us feedback on what you just heard.